Okay, subunit 3.12.2, solvency analysis. We just talked about liquidity analysis, and liquidity analysis dealt with being able to sell off assets to pay short-term debt. Now, solvency analysis is actually the ability for a company to meet its long-term financial obligations primarily, as opposed to short-term, which would be liquidity. So two separate analyses, two separate ratios. Okay, so the analysis of solvency is used to measure an enterprise's ability to meet its debt obligations, primarily the short term. Okay? Now, this ratio indicates whether the lower a company's solvency ratio, the greater the probability that it will default on debt obligations. So in liquidity, we did the same thing in regards to how that ratio affects its long-term abilities to pay off its debts, and how investors will, kind of seek from the outside the portfolios, et cetera, which by and large are publicly accessed, like how much a company's worth and if they have the ability to actually pay these debts off. Now, the solvency ratio analysis, one big part of it, and I just want to quote this here, indicates whether the lower a company's solvency ratio, okay, you want that low, the greater the probability that it will default on its debt obligations. So that's not good. Okay? So we want a high solvency ratio. So low ratio, high probability. Of defaulting. Okay, now for exam purposes, this is a computation that you may need to know to be able to apply it to certain exam questions that you will see. And it's pretty simplified, and I would just note this in your readings as you're watching this video and be able to apply it to your exam question if you do indeed see this again. Okay, so the solvency ratio equals net income plus depreciation. Now, we have a solvency ratio where we have net income plus depreciation now being divided by short-term liabilities plus their long-term liabilities. Remember, these short-term and long-term liabilities are obligations that we have to pay off, right? So to pay them off, we need net income, but we know there's going to be some depreciation, so we add that on. Then we will divide it by all total liabilities, and that will equal your solvency ratio. Now, on the exam, they'll plug in certain numbers. You just need to follow along with this particular formula to correctly answer the computation, and you'll be fine. So that, my friends, was the solvency ratio analysis.